Hello, my name is Calvin Wu, and I'm here today to talk to you, the parents of the students of the Regency Kumon Math and Reading Center, about gifted characteristics and identification in Henrico County. The reason I wanted to talk to you all about these points today is because a lot of the parents have been asking me about gifted placement and their students and where their students should go for, say, elementary school, middle school, so on and so forth. So I'd like to address some of those questions and concerns that you all have had. Starting off, I would like to go over a couple common misconceptions of gifted students. The first one is that, first common misconception is that gifted students are advanced in all classes. This is not always the case. While it's been shown that, many gifted students are advanced in many classes, in many subject areas, it is also possible for a child to be gifted in potentially just one subject area, such as math or history. And just because they are only gifted in one subject area does not mean that they aren't gifted. They are just as gifted as a child who is, in, say, all advanced classes. Another common misconception is that all gifted children are high achievers. This is also not always the case. It's been shown that a gifted child can be gifted but also low achieving. For example, a student can have a high math ability but refuse to really perform in class and is very selective with how they perform. This could be due to many factors, such as, social pressure. They want to fit in with their peers and they want to not appear different from their friends. However, when you observe them over time, you can see that latent ability is present. They just choose not to kind of hide it, to kind of fit in socially. Another misconception is that teachers, they should be challenging all students so that gifted kids should be fine in the regular classroom. This is also this is not always the case, seeing as that people who teach gifted children, they require special training. It's been shown in a study that even teachers admit, I think about 78% of teachers admit that they're not able to support their gifted children properly in their classroom. So, gifted children do need a specialized aid in order to best learn. Okay, so next I'd like to go over gifted characteristics. The first one being exceptional ability. This could be in specific subject areas such as math, science, English, history, etc., etc. Or in, say, more kind of unconventional abilities such as reasoning and problem solving, or in arts and music, or even athletics. Another characteristic is, gifted children having these complex thoughts, these rational or logical, procedural thoughts. And that's very typical of gifted children. Another common characteristic is that these children have excellent memory. They're able to read something or hear something and recall it very readily, almost with ease. And that's a very seemingly common characteristic of gifted children. Also, another characteristic is that these children have either a very wide range of interests, they want to know everything about everything, or they have a very, very extreme focus in one area. Say, a child is interested in human anatomy, and they'll go and pick up every single book that they can find on the human body and just read and read and read all about it until they're experts on the subject. And I'd like to say that while these characteristics that I've highlighted are fairly common among gifted students, these are not all the characteristics that gifted children can exhibit. So I'd like to go into what gifted programs are, what they do for these gifted students. And what they do specifically is that they address the needs of gifted students. They have a specialized curriculum. This curriculum must be challenging enough for these students. Gifted students need to be pushed differently than regular students. And sometimes these students require more specialized attention. They may require, individualized attention, or maybe more alternative methods of learning. Another way to think about these gifted programs is that they kind of fit along the same boat as special education students, where in the sense that special education students also need that sort of that different sort of education to best learn. So gifted students also require that sort of specialized curriculum so that they too can perform to their maximum. Moving on into Henrico County specifically, gifted identification for Henrico County typically happens in November for grades 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, and 12. Personally, I have seen that this happens in November for grades 3 and 4 in the majority of students, with 5, 7, 8, 9, and 12 being kind of, they kind of trickle in at that point for gifted students, but 3 and 4 is where the bulk of this identification happens. And the way they go about this is that they go through a checklist of gifted characteristics. They go through inquiry as well as national aid norm reference test. The nice thing about Henrico County is that no one area can be used to include or exclude a student from the gifted program. So that's about all the time that I have for you right now. If you have any additional questions, feel free to ask me, and I will try and answer them the best I can. Here are the references that I've used, and I hope you all have a great day.